Hello students. Now we shall discuss inverse trigonometric functions, which are called as arc trigonometric functions also. So before going to this particular topic, so we have to recall functions. So in functions what we have learned, we focused mainly on how to find out domain and range. So in the same way, we have to know what are the domains and ranges of trigonometric functions. From that we go to inverse trigonometric functions. So first of all, we have to know what are the domain and ranges of trigonometric functions. Then we define what are the domain and ranges of inverse trigonometric function. So first of all, what do you mean by function? A function f is a mapping from A to B, all elements in A which has image in a B. So those type of things are called functions, relations. Now, when inverse of a particular function is defined, if suppose I consider a function f is mapping A to B. So here a function f we have, and it has A as its domain. Domain of the function is mapping to subset of B, which is range. Now, if you are able to find its inverse, which is mapping range of the given function to domain of its function, then we can say its inverse is existed. So, which is nothing but if y equal to f of x is a function having defined as a function f is equal to a b, where a comma b or belongs to or real numbers, otherwise natural numbers. Then if you are able to define another function which is f inverse having the elements b comma a, where a comma b or belongs to real numbers, then the function f is called invertible function. Now we'll discuss about trigonometric functions, whether the trigonometric functions are invertible functions or not. So if I consider a trigonometric function which is sine function, if I consider sine function sin x, we can call it as f of x, or we can consider this as y. So we have sin x as a function whose domain, the values of x, or belongs to real number, whose range, the values of y, is -1 to 1. For all real numbers, sin x is defined, and we get the result, the answers as -1 to 1. Now this function graph, I draw the graph of sin x. If I draw the graph of sin x, so it behaves in such a way that 0, if I consider pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, minus pi by 2, minus pi, so minus 3 pi by 2, minus 2 pi. If I take its particular graph, it behaves like, so 0, sin 0 is 0, sin 90 is 1, sin 90 is 1, again sin pi is 0, sin 3 pi by 2 minus 1, so it behaves in this way, and again 2 pi 0, and minus pi by 2 is minus 1, pi 0, and like this. So the function sin x is given as y, and we have its a graph. Whether the function is invertible or not, how we can say? If its inverse exists. Inverse means nothing but if y, f is a function, sin x is equal to y, if f inverse exists, means range of the function to domain of the function. So if f inverse is defined from range of the function to domain of the function, means if it is a bijective. If it is a bijective, when we can say it is bijective? If it is 1 1 and 2. When we can say it is 1 1? If I draw a line which is parallel to x axis, if the line cuts the given curve at one point, then only we can say it is 1 1 function. But if I draw a line parallel to this, I'm getting many points. It cuts the given curve in different points. So it is not 1 1. Now to define inverse functions, I have to do something. So what I do, I break it into some branches. So how I'll break? If I break like this, you see still it is like intersecting at two different points. Now if I break the function in this way, so if I consider the function in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, now you observe, if I draw any line parallel to x-axis, it intersects a given curve at only one point. Now we can say its inverse is exists, because it's 1 1 and it is onto for every y value it has its own x value, therefore it is onto. So when it is 1 1 as well as onto, we can say it is bisective. So in this particular branch, its inverse exists. Not only this particular branch, so we can take the next one between pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2, or 3 pi by 2 to 5 pi by 2. So these all branches we can consider. In these all branches, we will take this particular branch as principal value branch. We consider this particular one as principal value branch. Now its inverse exists in between this. If its inverse exists, what about its domain and range? So what about its domain and range? See, sin x is defined in between these particular intervals, and we are getting its particular range as 1 to -1. Now if I want to find its inverse, what I should do, I have to make x values as y values as x. Means domain has to become as range and range has to become as domain. Now if I make like that, this will be pi by 2 and it is minus pi by 2, -1 and 1. At pi by 2 its value is 1, at minus pi by 2 its value is -1. Now I get a graph like this. So how I get? I'm getting a graph in this way. So for pi by 2 I'm getting 1, for minus pi by 2 I'm getting -1. So this is the graph of inverse sine function, which is nothing but sin x is equal to y. Its inverse, sine inverse of y is equal to x. Sine inverse of y is equal to x. In the same way, we can call it as arc sine function. While reading sine inverse y, we can read it as arc sine y. Now, so for comfortability, what we do? We replace this y by x to make it into a function in terms of x. So we can rewrite this one as sine inverse of x, which is f of x, or arc sine x is equal to f of x. Now we should know a difference between sine inverse y or sine inverse x and sine x power -1. Sine inverse x is a function, and sine power -1x is reciprocal of cosecant. Sine power -1x is reciprocal of sine, which is nothing but sine x power -1 can be written as 1 by sine x, which will be equal to cosecant x. But sine inverse x is not at all equal to cosecant x. Sine inverse x is a function in terms of x. That is the difference between sine x whole inverse and sine inverse x. We should get a clarity in between these two definitions. Sine x whole power -1 is different from sine inverse x. Now, what about the range and domain of sine inverse x? Range and domain. What is the domain? The value of x. So from -1 to 1 it is defined. So domain of sine inverse is -1 to 1, and the range of the sine inverse is -pi by 2 to pi by 2. So I list out all ranges and domain of inverse trigonometric functions. See, inverse or we can write it as arc trigonometric functions. So its domain and range. So domain of sin inverse x. Sin inverse x can be called as arc sin x. What is its domain? Just now we have discussed, it is nothing but -1 to 1, and range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. In the same way, we shall discuss about cos and its inverse. Cos function. So what is a cos function? So cos x is given as y, which is nothing but f of x. Cos x given, and if I draw its graph, taking angle on x and resultant on y, what I get? Pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, minus pi by 2, minus pi, minus 3 pi by 2, minus 2 pi. Cos 0 is 1 and cos 90 is 0 and cos pi is minus 1. Cos 3 pi by 2, 0. Cos 2 pi, 1. So I get its graph like this. So now again we are getting confused and we are getting like it's not 1 function. So we have to make it as 1 function. Then we can define it is a bijective. So where it behaves as 1 function. So first we have to find that particular branch. So if I consider as a previous sign, it's from minus pi by 2 pi by 2, it's like this. And if you draw a line parallel to x-axis, it cuts the curve at 2 different points. So what I can consider from this particular thing to this, which is nothing but from 0 to pi. So I can take from 0 to pi, or pi to 2 pi, or 2 pi to 3 pi, or left side 0 to minus pi, or minus pi to minus 2 pi, or minus 2 pi to minus 3 pi. Likewise, I can take many branches. It is defined in all particular branches. In that all, what is the first and foremost one? Is called principal value branch. Whenever we are defining and whenever we are finding the values, we express the given values which are lying in between principal branch. So now cos x is invertible in between 0 to pi. So if I redraw its inverse, then x behaves as y. So on x-axis I have to take the values 1 and minus 1. On y-axis I have to take the angle pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. Then I have to draw the graph. So minus 1. So when it is, the values are nothing but 0, 0 to pi. So 0 to pi by 2 I'll get 1, and pi by 2 to pi. So I can take like this, and this is x. So at 0, what's the value of at 0? What's the value? 1. At pi by 2, 0. At pi, minus 1. So what I get the function in this way. So if I want to draw as a curve, we draw like this. So this is the graph of cos inverse. X-axis, y-axis. So we have 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, same way, minus pi by 2, minus pi, minus 3 pi by 2, minus 2 pi. So what about tan? Tan 0 is 0, tan 90 is not defined. So from 0 to 90, tan increasing. So what we get? Tan 0, 0, tan 90 indefinite. So it won't join. In the same way, whatever tan of minus 90, which is approaches to minus infinity. Same way, if I draw a diagram in between these two, what I get? So the curve moves like this. Now you see, if I consider all the branches, I can't say this is a bijective function. But if I take any principal branch, so where it is behaving like bijective, so we can take and we can define its inverse. So I consider the first and foremost one, which is nothing but minus pi by 2 to pi. Then it acts as bijective function. Now what about its range and domain? Range and domain. So if I consider tan x values, all real numbers, for all real numbers it is existing except 90 degree and minus 90 degree. And its range, what about range of tan? I am not discussing about tan inverse, tan. So tan from all real numbers, for all negative numbers, all positive numbers, and we have 0 also. So it exists from real numbers. It exists from all negative numbers, means minus infinity to plus infinity, which is nothing but all real numbers. So if I want to define tan inverse x becomes y and y becomes x. Now what about its domain and what about its range? Domain, all real numbers, because this y-axis becomes as x-axis. If I shift like this, we get in this way. So for all real numbers it is existed. So we can write tan inverse x domain is all real numbers. And what about its range, which is nothing but where it lies? It lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, and minus pi by 2 are not included, because at these two values the value of tan becomes infinity. So tan inverse x range is all values which are lying in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2 except those two. See, this is closed interval and this one is open interval. Now we go with chord inverse. So what about chord? So if I take chord inverse function, which lies like similar way of tan, I draw the diagram. The graph of tan in chord inverse x. The graph of chord inverse . 0, pi by 2, pi, minus pi by 2, minus pi. Just cross it. Cos 0 is not defined and cos pi by 2. Cos 0 is not defined and cos pi by 2 is 0. So here I'll get not defined, decreasing, and at pi by 2 I'll get 0 and decreasing frequently, and which will get not defined for negative real numbers. Same way for this, not defined to not defined. See, this is the behavior of chord x. So y and x. This is the behavior of chord x function. Now we have to define its inverse. Its inverse is defined if it is bijective. So it is bijective only in between these two branch. Means this particular branch or this branch or next branch or this. So which is the first one? We call it as principal branch. So which is nothing but from 0 to pi. From 0 to pi. Therefore, what is its domain and what are the ranges? So to find domain and range of chord inverse, we have to change x as y and y as x. So what are the values of x? The values of x are nothing but all real numbers, and the values of y is nothing but from 0 to pi, which are 0 and pi not included. Next, secant inverse x. Secant inverse x. So I draw the graph of secant x first. First secant x graph, which is nothing but reciprocal of cos. Okay, y, and this is x, 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi minus pi by 2 minus pi minus 3 pi by 2 minus 2 pi. If suppose I take 0, secant 0 is 1, secant 0 is 1, so start from his 1. Secant 90 not defined, secant 90 not defined. What we get? 1 and secant 90 not defined, like this, and secant minus 90 also not defined. Now what about secant pi minus 1, secant pi by 2 not defined, increases, and secant 3 pi by 2 not defined. See, if I consider this one, in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, it doesn't act as one function, so I cannot consider in between these two, but I can consider between this particular portion, see, from 0 to 90 degree it is increasing, so I can consider only this particular branch. See, from 0 to 90 increasing. Next, from 90 to pi. So from 90 to pi, how it's behaving? Increasing. From 90 to pi, if suppose I consider this one as minus 1, slide. So if I consider this particular thing, where we have a pi by 2, so if I draw a line, it doesn't intersect at 2 or more than points, it intersects only 1 point, so we can say it is one function, so we can call it as bisective. So between 0 and pi, secant x acts as bisective function, so whereas its inverse exists. So whenever its inverse exists, x becomes y and y becomes x. Now what about its domain and range? Domain, all real numbers, whereas plus 1 to minus 1 does not exist. So all real numbers and plus 1 minus 1 does not exist. We can write it as minus infinity to minus 1, minus 1 infinity to minus 1, union 1 to infinity. Now what about its range? Its range, which is nothing but this particular x values of secant. Now it becomes its range, which is nothing but 0 to pi. Range is 0 to pi. In this 0 to pi, we found that at pi by 2 it is not defined. So what I have to do, I have to take from 0 to pi and I should subtract pi by 2. So which can be rewritten as 0 to pi by 2. 0 is closed, pi by 2 open, union pi by 2 to pi, where pi by 2 open, pi is closed. The final one, cosecant inverse x. So cosecant inverse x, first we draw the graph of cosecant x and then we'll find its inverse. Cosecant x 1 minus 1 0 pi by 2 pi 3 pi by 2 2 pi minus pi by 2 minus pi minus 3 pi by 2 minus 2 pi. So now cosecant 0 not defined, cosecant 0 not defined, but cosecant pi by 2 is 1. So cosecant pi by 2 will get 1 and cosecant pi again not defined. Cosecant pi by 2 is 1, cosecant 0 not defined. So we get the graph in this way. Left side, cosecant minus pi by 2 is minus 1 and cosecant 0 not defined and cosecant minus pi not defined. So we are getting the graph like this. Now from this we have to define its domain as well as range. So whether its inverse exists or not, we have to cross check the later. Now you check. If I draw a line here, I am getting a two points. If I draw a line parallel to x-axis, again I am getting 2 points. So in entire its domain, it's not invertible. So I have to take a branch. So if I take only this particular branch, it's not possible, and this particular branch again it's not possible. So I have to take the combination. In between this, I have to search. So if you consider this particular thing and this, in between this region, its inverse is existed. So now if I interchange, if I get the inverse, so how it behaves? I am changing y as x and x as y. So what are its values? So it lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. Wherever I am getting 0, it's not defined, and wherever I am getting 0, not defined. If increases, I just approach like this. Now, next, 1 second. X values, if I take minus 1 and plus 1, if I take minus 1 and plus 1, so minus 1, at minus 1, we get, at minus 1, we'll get 90. At minus 1, what we get? Minus 90, and then increases. At 1, we'll get plus 90, and then decreases. See, this is a graph of cosecant inverse. Now what we can say, it is invertible in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. It's invertible in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. So these are actually x value of cosecant, acts as y for cosecant inverse, and this is y and acts as x for cosecant inverse. So what is its domain? Its domain is for cosecant inverse x. What is its domain? Its domain, all real numbers except this particular part, all real numbers. Its domain is all real numbers except this part, which is nothing but lies in between minus 1 and 1. We can write it as minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. So what about its range? Its range, we can take the values in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, and as well as pi by 2 minus pi by 2, but in between this we are getting at 0, not defined. So from this branch, from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, I have to subtract element 0. So which can be rewritten as minus pi by 2 to 0, 0 open, union 0 to plus pi by 2 closed, 0 open. Always depends on where x and y are taken, from where x and y are taken. Suppose if I have a function like sine inverse x is equal to f of x, means a function f of x is defined as sine inverse x, so which is considered as y. Now while solving the problems, these all things or depends on where x is defined. So actually sine inverse x is defined for x values between 1 and minus 1, and if I substitute these values, I'll get the values of y which are lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. So what I get, f sine inverse x is a function which is mapping minus 1 comma 1 to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So first we have to decide where it lies and what the result we are going to get. Now if I got a problem like find domain of sine inverse of 1 minus x. Find the domain of Sine inverse 1 minus x. Find its range also. So I got a function. I make it as y is equal to sine inverse. Y is equal to sine inverse 1 minus x. So whatever I have here, that lies in between 1 minus 1 and 1. So that's the first thing. To find the domain of the given function, what I have to take? 1 minus x lies in between minus 1 and 1. Now I have to add 1 on all the sides. So minus 1 plus 1, 0. Minus 1 plus 1, see, I have to add minus 1 on all the sides. Minus 1 less than or equal to 1 minus x minus 1 less than or equal to 1 minus 1. So minus 1 what we get? Minus 2 less than or equal to minus x less than or equal to 0. I got minus x, so I have to multiply by minus, then what I get? 2 greater than or equal to x greater than or equal to 0. So domain of the given function is 0 to 2. Now its range depends on domain. Means if the value of x is 0, what is the value I am going to get? And value of x is 2, what I am going to get? See, the range of the function depends on this particular thing. So range of the function, the minimum, the least value is 0. So I have to substitute 0 in the given function. Then what I get? Y is equal to sine inverse of 1 minus 0. So y is equal to sine inverse of 1. Next, what is the maximum? The value is 2. So y is equal to sine inverse 1 minus 2. So y is equal to sine inverse of minus 1. So we have to find what is sine inverse of 1 and what is sine inverse of minus 1. So if I want to get this one sine inverse of 1 and minus 1, we have to go for some particular procedure. What is the procedure? Where sine inverse exists and where cos inverse exists and where tan inverse exists. Sine inverse, its range is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Its range is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So this particular thing I take as some k. So sine inverse of 1 is equal to k. 1 is equal to sine k. So sine k is equal to 1. I can write it as sine pi by 2 is equal to sine k. So k is equal to pi by 2. So what is this maximum value? Pi by 2. Now y is equal to sine inverse of minus 1. Same we apply. Sine inverse of minus 1 is equal to k. Minus 1 is equal to sine k. Suppose if I go to the next one, sine inverse of minus 1 is equal to k. Minus 1 is equal to sine inverse k. When we get minus 1, we get minus 1 in a third quadrant. Sine is negative in third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So I am not supposed to enter in a third quadrant because sine is lies in between pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. Sine lies in between pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. This is the region. So sine lies in between these two. It won't enter to the second and fourth quadrant. So whatever the values we get, we have to convert the value where it lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. So what I can consider in third quadrant, which is nothing but exactly minus pi by 2. So I can write it as sine of minus pi by 2, which is equal to sine k. Therefore k is equal to minus pi by 2. So from this what I can write, the range of the given function is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Always we prefer the smallest value first and greatest value next. So I got here minus pi by 2. I use first minus pi by 2. Then I use plus pi by 2. So we have to find a domain, and whatever the domain we got, that particular values we have to substitute to get the range. So let me do inverse functions lies. In which quadrant those particular functions lies. If I take sine inverse x, Sin inverse x completely this total function is lies in between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Cos inverse x, so I am not talking about the x entire function, means its range, where its range lies. So cos inverse x lies in between 0 and pi. Tan inverse x lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, both are open. Cot inverse x lies in between 0 to pi, both are open. Secant inverse x lies in between 0 to pi minus pi by 2. Cosecant inverse x lies in between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 minus 0. So these particular functions lies in these particular regions. So if I take a quadrant diagram, this sin inverse x, so which is nothing but 0, pi by 2, pi, so we call it as minus pi by 2 or 3 pi by 2. So sin inverse x always lies in between first quadrant and fourth quadrant. So the all values of sin inverse lies between first and fourth. So if I get the values which are in third and second, we must convert that particular values in terms of first and fourth quadrant values. If I take cos inverse, it lies in between 0 and pi, means completely lies between first quadrant and second quadrant. So if I get the values which are more than this first and second quadrant, we must convert it like which are lies in between first quadrant and second quadrant. Means we have to get the answer, we have to get its range which is lying in between 0 to pi only. We are not supposed to get more than pi, which is nothing but the answer is 300 degree, 5 pi by 6, 5 pi by 3, such kind of answers. If I get 5 pi by 3, I have to convert which is like in between 0 to pi. Now going to tan inverse x. So tan inverse x also lies in between first and fourth, except this pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. These two are excluded. Now cot inverse x lies in between first and second, but we won't consider 0 and pi. So these two are excluded. Going to secant inverse x. Secant inverse x is same as cos, but in this particular process, secant 90 not defined, so 90 degree eliminated. So secant inverse x lies in between first and second quadrant. Cosecant inverse lies in between first and fourth, and we have to exclude 0. So for 0, cosecant is not defined. So if I observe sin inverse x, tan inverse x, cosecant inverse x all belongs to first and fourth quadrant. The answers of sin inverse, tan inverse, cosecant inverse will lie in between minus pi by 2, pi by 2 only. And the values of cos inverse x, cot inverse x and secant inverse x lies in between first and second. So we get answers in between 0 and pi radians. Now we shall go to the problem. So which is given as find sin inverse minus 1 by root 2. Find sin inverse minus 1 by root 2. So whatever the value given, take the value as x. Now sin inverse of something is a x, so we can transpose right side, we get minus 1 by root 2 is equal to sin x. Minus 1 by root 2 is equal to sin x. Next, for what value of sin we get minus 1 by root 2? For minus of 1 by root 2, I get sin pi by 4 as 1 by root 2, sin pi by 4 as 1 by root 2, which is equal to sin x. I have here minus, sin is negative in third and fourth, so sin does not belong to third quadrant, so I have to consider this one in fourth quadrant, which can be written as sin of minus theta, nothing but sin of minus pi by 4 is equal to sin x. Therefore, x is equal to minus pi by 4. What is x? What is x? Sin inverse of minus 1 by root 2 is equal to minus pi by 4. Now next, one more problem. One more. They have asked us find sin inverse of sin 5 pi by 3. Sin inverse of sin 5 pi by 3 find. So I consider sin inverse of sin 5 pi by 3 is as x. Then sin 5 pi by 3 is equal to sin x. So inverse going to the right side. Push it careful again. Again I am explaining. Sin inverse x is a function. Sin inverse is a function. Sin x power minus 1 is reciprocal. Both are different. These two are not at all equal. We should have a clear idea, then only we can solve the problems which are belongs to inverse trigonometric functions. Sin inverse is a function. Sin x power minus 1 is its reciprocal. It's not inverse. Now sin 5 pi by 3 equal to sin x. So directly we cannot take x is equal to 5 pi by 3 because x lies in between minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. Minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. 5 pi by 3 which is nothing but 5 into 60, 300 degree. 300 degree which lies in 300 degree fourth quadrant, which lies in fourth quadrant, can be expressed as in between minus pi by 2 only. Between minus 90 and plus 90 we should write. So what I can write this one, sin 2 pi. 300 can be written as 360 minus 60. 360 minus 60. So I can write it as 2 pi minus pi by 3, which is equal to sin x. Sin 2 pi minus theta. Sin 2 pi minus theta. Sin 2 pi minus theta minus sin theta. So we can write it as minus sin pi by 3, which is equal to sin x. So it can be rewritten as sin of minus pi by 3. Sin of minus pi by 3, which is equal to sin x. Therefore x is equal to minus pi by 3. So x is minus pi by 3. Then we can rewrite it as sin inverse of sin 5 pi by 3 is equal to minus pi by 3 is not at all equal to pi by 3. One more problem. If I go to the other one which is given as tan inverse x equal to sin inverse of 1 by 2. Tan inverse x is given as sin inverse of 1 by 2. We have to find the value of x. So this can be rewritten as x is equal to tan of sin inverse 1 by 2 or 1 by 2 equal to sin of tan inverse x. So we can write in two ways. Tan x is equal to how we can write tan inverse x is equal to sin inverse of 1 by 2 is a given question. So I find this particular value. Sin inverse of 1 by 2. Take sin inverse of 1 by 2. Sin inverse of 1 by 2. Let it be some constant k. So sin k is equal to 1 by 2. Sin k is equal to 1 by 2. So sin k is equal to sin pi by 6. Sin 30 degree. Now k is equal to pi by 6. What is k? So sin inverse of 1 by 2 is k. So sin inverse of 1 by 2 is pi by 6. So sin inverse of 1 by 2 is pi by 6. Sin inverse of 1 by 2 is equal to tan inverse x. Therefore tan inverse of x is equal to tan inverse of x is equal to sin inverse 1 by 2, but I got sin inverse 1 by 2 as pi by 6. So x is equal to tan pi by 6. So x is equal to 1 by root 3. X is equal to 1 by root 3. In this way we can do many problems, and we should check whether this particular value is lying in between its particular thing. So tan x, so tan inverse x. So what is the domain of x? All real numbers. So we can get 1 by root 3. So I have here k. What is k? I have here 1 by 2 sin inverse x. Sin inverse x. So sin inverse x, entire portion, entire thing is lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. I got this, I consider this one as k. I got the value of pi by 6, which is lies in between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. So whatever the answers we are getting, those are lying in between their particular domain and range or not. The values are lying between domain or its ranges or not. You have to check. If it is yes, then only we have to take that as answer. Otherwise, we should convert. Suppose they have given a problem like find domain and range of sin inverse e power x. What is the question? Find domain and range of sin inverse e power x. So how I am going to find? So first, to find domain. To find domain means where x exists. So between what values x exists. So I have to consider this particular thing which is lies in between minus 1 and plus 1. So e power x lies in between minus 1 and plus 1. So if it lies in between minus 1 and plus 1, we get two conditions, which is nothing but one is less than or equal to e power x. Second one, e power x less than or equal to 1. For this, exponent of any number is always positive. So for anything, means you see, e power x minus 1 is less than or equal to e power x, can be written as e power x is greater than or equal to minus 1. So for all the values of x, we get it as positive. So for all the values of x, it is greater than minus 1. So where x lies? So x lies in between minus infinity to infinity, nothing but which is real number. Now for what values of x is less than or equal to 1, then e power x is less than or equal to e power 0. So bases are equal, we can compare the powers. So we get x less than or equal to 0. Now we have two parts. So what is the domain of particular x? So where x lies? We have x belongs to R and x less than or equal to 0. The intersection part of these two is nothing but the domain of the given function. So x belongs to R and x less than or equal to 0, which is nothing but 0 from minus infinity to 0, closed, and here minus infinity to plus infinity. So what is our domain? Domain of the given function is the intersection part of these two, which is nothing but minus infinity to 0. Now we should get the range. So how to find the range? So to find out the range, so whatever the domain we got, we have to substitute. So domain least value is minus infinity, maximum value is 0. So least value is minus infinity. So if I substitute minus infinity in e power, so e power minus infinity is 0. So e power minus infinity is 0 and e power 0 is 1. So e power minus infinity is 0, e power 0 is 1. Between this it lies. So therefore the range is sin inverse of e power x, total thing. It lies in between sin inverse of 0 and sin inverse of 1. So what is sin inverse of 0? 0. And what is sin inverse of 1? Pi by 2. So 0 is open because minus infinity is open, that's why 0 open, and for this it's 1, so 1 is closed. This gives the range of given function. So this is the domain of the given function and this is the range of given function. So one more question. If the function is given as f is equal to sin x plus sin inverse x, find domain. What is the domain of sin x plus sin inverse x? So if you have a combination, the domain is nothing but intersection of the two functions. Now f is given as sin x plus sin inverse x. Sin x domain is real number. Sin inverse x domain is -1 to 1. So what is the intersection part? So intersection part is -1 to 1, which acts as domain of the given function. If the function is given as cos inverse x plus sin inverse x, so what is the domain of cos inverse x and what is the domain of sin inverse x? Cos inverse x domain of cos inverse x is -1 to 1. Domain of sin inverse x is -1 to 1. Therefore, domain of the given function is -1 to 1. So likewise, we have to find out. One more question. If I consider the function as sin inverse of step x. Find domain and range. So for domain, this particular thing lies in between -1 and 1. So step x lies in between -1 and +1. So what step function says? The nearest and smallest integer. Step function says the nearest and smallest integer. And what are the nearest and smallest integers? For what values of x we get the things. See, -1 is less than or equal to x. So step x, -1 is less than or equal to step x. So step x value is smaller than -1. So if I take -1.2, what is step of -1.2, which is equal to -2? Nearest and smallest integer, smallest. If suppose I consider step 1.9, what is step 1.9? Nearest and smallest. What is step 1.9? Nearest and smallest integer, which is 1. So till 1.999, what I get? I'll get 1 only. So right side what I get? 2 open. Because if I get 2, so step 2 is 2. So I cannot include 2. But if I consider here -1 point, what I am getting? -2. So till what I can consider? Till -1. So step -1 is -1, or step -0.9 is also -1. So where x lies in between -1 and 2. So what is the domain? Domain of the function is -1 to 2. -1 is closed, 2 is open. Now for this all values, what is step x? This is domain. Now I am going to find range. Range depends on this particular step x. Means sin inverse of step x. Not on this only x. It depends on sin inverse of step x. So what about this particular value? Step x is -1 or 0 or 1. When we get -1, if the value lies in between 0 to -0.9. 0 to -0.9, I'll get -1. If the value lies in between 1, not only -0.9, -1, we'll get the answer as -1. Between 1 to 0, 0 is included, 0 is not included, 0 is not. Then what I get? I'll get 0. What I'll get? I'll get 0. Nearest and smallest. From 1 to 2. From 1 to 2. 1 close. Here 1 open. 2 open. What I'll get? 1. So even my domain is from -1 to 2. I'll get only 3 values as my result. Only 3 values as my result. Therefore, what is my range? My range is sin inverse -1, comma, sin inverse 0, comma, sin inverse 1. Sin inverse of -1 is minus pi by 2. Sin inverse of 0 is 0. Sin inverse of 1 is pi by 2. So these are the elements which are belongs to the range. We do one more problem which is given in our textbook. Find cos inverse minus root 3 by 2 plus pi by 6. This is the given question. So if the given, if you consider this as y, entire thing if I consider as y, we have to find the value of this entire thing. We have to find the value of y. So for this, where we get inverse, we want to consider this one as x. So we consider cos inverse of minus root 3 by 2 is x. So let it be x. Then minus root 3 by 2 is equal to cos x minus cos pi by 6 is equal to cos x. Now, in which quadrant cos is negative? In which quadrant cos is negative? Cos is negative in second quadrant and third quadrant. But in third quadrant we cannot consider values in third quadrant because cos strictly belongs to first and second. So we have to convert this pi by 6 minus of cos pi by 6 to second quadrant. So how I can write? If I want to write anything in second quadrant, we write it as pi minus theta. If I want to convert into third quadrant, we write it as pi plus theta. So this can be rewritten as cos pi minus pi by 6. Pi minus pi by 6, which lies in second quadrant, which is equal to cos x. Pi minus pi by 6, 6 pi minus pi, 6 pi minus pi, 5 pi. So cos 5 pi by 6 is equal to cos x. Therefore, x is equal to 5 pi by 6. So x value 5 pi by 6. So this total value 5 pi by 6. Substitute in y. So y is equal to cos of 5 pi by 6 plus pi by 6. So y is equal to cos of 6 pi by 6, which is nothing but pi. We get the answer as minus 1. Therefore, the entire thing is equal to minus 1. So one more problem. Given that tan inverse 2 sine given a problem, tan inverse 2 sine of 2 cos inverse root 3 by 2. 2 cos inverse root 3 by 2. So this is the question. They asked us to find the value of this. So we take entire thing as y. So where we have a inverse function, we consider it as x. So cos inverse root 3 by 2, take it as x. See, don't depend like always we have to take it as x. We want some variable, we consider x. I can take j, I can take p, I can take k, I can take m, I can take n. No issue. So we are familiar with x, I am using x. You can use theta, alpha, beta, gamma, your wish. Now root 3 by 2 is equal to cos x. Then cos pi by 6 is equal to cos x. Therefore, x is equal to pi by 6. This value replaced in the given. So y is equal to tan inverse 2 sine 2 pi by 6 to pi by 6. 2 ones are 2 3s are. So what I get? Y equal to tan inverse 2 y equal to tan inverse 2 sine pi by 3. Still tan inverse 2 sine pi by 3 sine 60 degree, we can write it as root 3 by 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Y is equal to tan inverse of root 3. Again I got inverse function. We can take this one as tan y is equal to root 3. So tan y is equal to root 3. For what value you get root 3? Tan y equal to tan pi by 3. Therefore y equal to pi by 3. So the value of tan inverse 2 sine 2 cos inverse of root 3 by 2 is equal to pi by 3. So this is the procedure. Whatever they given, let it be some variable. Wherever we see inverse functions, we consider it as some x. Then start solving the problem. So we do one more problem. Consider cosecant cos inverse of minus 12 by 13. Given question, find the value of cosecant cos inverse of minus 12 by 13. So that's an unknown value. We don't know that. So let it be y. So in this, whatever the inverse we have, take the inverse as x. So cos inverse of minus 12 by 13, take it as x. So minus 12 by 13 equal to cos x. So cos x is negative. So till now we got the values, direct trigonometry. Now we got some value which is 12 by 13, which we don't have a standard trigonometry ratios, standard values. So we can write in terms of 12 by 13, 5 by 13, 12 by 13 by 12 in this way. So what we got here? We got cos x as minus 12 by 3, which is negative. So cos x is negative in second quadrant and third quadrant. It's restricted third quadrant. We have to go with only second quadrant. So cos x belongs to second quadrant. So in second quadrant, if I form a triangle, right angle triangle, if it is theta, now cos theta is defined as adjacent by hypotenuse. So this value minus 12, this will be 13. So according to Pythagoras theorem, 13 square minus 12 square, which is equal to 169 minus 144, 25. So root 25 is 5. So cos x is equal to minus 12 by 13. Now cos x is minus 12 by 13. We have to find y. We have to find y. So we find out y. Cosecant cos inverse of minus 12 by 13 equal to y. This total value, which is nothing but x. So we rewrite it as cosecant x is equal to y. We got a triangle. This is not theta. We got here x now, so we have to use x. So in this right angle triangle, we should find cosecant x. So find cosecant x in right angle triangle. Cosecant x, which is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse, is sine. It's reciprocal. Hypotenuse by opposite. Hypotenuse is 13. Opposite is 5. 13 by 5 equal to y. Therefore, cosecant of cos inverse minus 12 by 13 is equal to 13 by 5. Okay, this step once again you listen. Cos x we have a cos x belongs to cos x is negative, so cos x is negative in second quadrant and third quadrant, but we have to consider only second quadrant. Third quadrant is restricted, so because cos x lies in between first and second. Now with the help of this, form a rectangle triangle, which is minus 12 and 13, which represents adjacent hypotenuse. With the help of Pythagoras theorem, find the opposite. So we got cos x. Now this total value represents x, so substitute x, we get cosecant x is equal to y. From this right angle triangle, define cosecant x, which is nothing but